Hey guys, little outdoor excursion today. Got myself out of the basement in some natural sunlight. I am here at the Loveland Prop Busters operated flying field here in near Amelia, Ohio. This is located within the emergency spillway associated with the William Harsha Dam and Lake here on the east side of Cincinnati, about 20-25 miles east of Cincinnati, give or take. Nice paved runway, plenty of workstations, plenty of pilot stands, fully fenced, protected, nice AstroTurf surface. Yeah, we're pretty well set up here. Now, let's see what I've got to fly today. Two planes. This is called the GASB One. Downloaded this from Thingiverse, and it's 3D printed out of white PLA. It's a little rough looking. I've had a couple of failed flight attempts. I believe they typically launch these with a bungee type system. I don't have a bungee system. I don't want to have to lug a bungee system around. I discovered the hard way that it doesn't hand launch terribly well for multiple reasons. Probably one, I'm not a very good hand launcher. And two, the PLA is a little bit brittle, so hand launching it might result in some breakage on takeoff just due to the twist put on it by your hand as you're flinging it. So I decided to modify it and put some landing gear on it, put some steerable nose gear. I know that looks a little hack. I did that relatively quickly. I'm hopeful if this works out well, I'm going to print another one of these. Maybe try ABS or a different type of plastic, something that's a little more temperature stable, less brittle. But I wanted to kind of prove at least the airframe, the design first, and the general concept, and then we'll go on to making modifications. I have a pusher prop on here. It's an APC. I believe it's probably I don't know if it's a 7x6, maybe it's a 7x5 APC pusher. Definitely 7-inch. I can't remember exactly what the pitch is. I think 5 or 6. And a motor from Hobby King. This is the Turnigy 2210A 1650 kV, 180 watt. Makes loads of power, really does. Little magnetic hatch here. Putting the magnets on here is a little bit of a modification that I made, and I'll have a link in the description below to show you take you to the Thingiverse page where you can download this and build it yourself if you want. Turnigy Plush 40 amp ESC, and right now no receiver. The receiver that I'm going to stick in here after a while is currently in that plane. Didn't have another receiver I could bring with me easily. Magnetic hatch pops on there pretty well. It's pretty secure. A couple of high-tech Metal Gear servos. The first failed flight resulted in immediately in a broken servo, so I decided to upgrade those a little bit, especially given the size of the control surfaces and what have you. Just trying to remove a little bit of weakness. So we'll see how that thing goes. I have some 1000 milliamp hour 3-cell 40 or 45C batteries, I think they are. These are Turnigy Nanotech. Supposed to be halfway decent anyway. Yeah, they're rated for 45 or 90C burst, but the current that I'm pulling with that is maybe 17 amps. I've put it on a watt meter, and this being 45C at 1000 milliamp hours, is rated for up to 45 amps. But I won't even be pushing it to half of its rated amperage, which is typically how I run things. I try not to exceed half of the rated amperage, especially for the lower price stuff, the value or budget price stuff. Okay, now second plane we've got here today is a Flitetest P-51. I've got, I don't know, maybe 15 flights on this so far. I've got a couple little scuffs and bumps on it, but no real wrecks. The only thing I really did is land short of the runway, wheel dug into the grass, and tore the landing gear off. I just hot glued it, put a little shipping tape on the bottom there. I've been using this for aerial combat, where we put a 10-foot long streamer along the back, and the idea is to fly around and cut the other guy's streamers. So I figured a foam plane like this, relatively inexpensive, not too difficult to build, would be the way to go. I scratch built this, it. Try not to give myself too much credit here. It was maybe 3 or 4 hours, give or take, to download the plans from Flitetest, cut them out, lay them over the foam board, and cut out the foam board and glue it together. I try to get a little bit creative with the colors here. This is just poster board. It's fluorescent green poster board and some silver poster board for the canopy. I try to get a little fancy or somewhat attractive with the design and coloration of the thing. I have a Rimfire 10 motor in there, if you can see that. Here, let me pull the hatch down. Yeah, Rimfire 10 motor. Hopefully all this stuff is coming out okay. I'm using the Hat Cam, which is an Ion Air Pro Wi-Fi action camera, and there's no display, so I don't know exactly what it's looking at right now, but hopefully you're getting the picture. Yeah, so Rimfire 10 motor. This runs on a 3-cell 1800 milliamp hour Zippy Flight Max batteries. Got this this little battery hatch rig so that I can pull it down, pull out this stick, shove the battery in. The back of the battery will hit up against the bamboo skewers farther back in there to keep it from falling any farther back. And then when you insert that skewer back into it, it actually goes through the battery lead wires, and it keeps the battery from flopping down or flying forward. So it holds it exactly where you want it. So that way your CG doesn't change due to a battery shift, you know. So seems to work pretty well so far. This is a fantastic flying airplane, and I take no credit for that. The Flitetest guys did a really good job of designing it, testing it, laying it out, and making it available for people to download and build themselves. If you can fly a trainer, you can fly this thing. You really can. It's just that simple. So I'm going to get myself prepped and ready to fly here, guys. I think we're going to do the P-51 first, since it already has a receiver in it. And then D-Day, the GASB One. Again, nothing against the design. It's mostly against either my flight skills, build skills, and what have you. So I'm cautiously optimistic. All right, more in a minute. All right, guys, we are back. We're going to fly the P-51 now. Do a quick control check. Left roll, right roll, up, down, left rudder, right rudder. Little gas. Little gas. Completely alone at the airfield today. We got a little crosswind. You can see the windsock out there. But it's a little bit of a breeze. I don't know how much of that wind noise you're getting on the video. Hopefully not a whole lot. I'll adjust the cap here. Hopefully you guys can get a decent look at things. I've never used this camera for like this kind of stuff before, so I have no idea how well it's going to work. Man, that green really stands out on this thing. There's enough of a breeze. I'm having a tough time. I'm going to have to cut this out. No, just having a little bit of a tough time keeping it straight down the runway. Unfortunately, I mean, there's hardly any breeze. I'm actually a little bit surprised, but I've actually got flaperons set up on this plane. I haven't tried them yet. It'll actually fly pretty slow. It can be a pretty slow flying plane. I'm pretty impressed by it. I'm going to do some approaches here, and we'll give those flaperons a try. Like I said, pretty easy flyer, to be honest with you. Try flaps. Whoops, didn't like that. We get some strange wind here at this flying field. Huh. Does not like this. Just wants to bank left. I must not have them balanced or set up right. Oh well, no flaperons. That's not going to break my heart. I just have some fun. Got full-sized up there, way up there, nowhere close to him. See how she flies inverted. Not too bad. It's a little bit under-propped. It's a little under-propped. I could go with, I could stand to go with a little more prop. A little more pitch, maybe a little more diameter. I'm trying to keep the plane kind of slow. I guess I could maybe even drop the pitch down a little bit and up the diameter a little bit. Using it for combat, that extra diameter might give me a little more of a weapon, bigger weapon to use to cut the other guy's streamers. Doesn't have a whole lot of rudder area. Doesn't want to really knife edge too well. Of course, honestly, I haven't pushed this plane real hard yet. Like I said, only have 10, 12 flights on it, give or take, so haven't gotten super comfortable with it just yet. I recently retired an FT3D that I had flown the hell out of. Great flying plane, fantastic flying plane. It was actually the first flight test model I had constructed, and super happy with it. It had just gotten dinged up enough times over the years that it was time to let her go. Fuselage is still in good enough shape. Wouldn't be a big issue at all, really, to rebuild the thing. Let's bring her in here. Whoop, go around again. Now there's nobody else here, so I should be able to land perfect, right? That's the way it's supposed to work. Of course, you guys are here and you're making me nervous. That's the problem. Actually, landings have always been my problem. I think it's a mental block thing. Well, I've got a few different difficulties with landing. One of them is, you know, I don't get nearly low and slow enough, early enough. Let's do it again. I'm still not happy with that. I can do so much better. And the thing is, and something I think a lot of people don't realize, especially when they're coming for landing, is that these airplanes, generally speaking, not all of them of course, but a lot of these airplanes will fly a lot slower than you would expect while still remaining completely controllable without having to worry about stalls or what have you. That was unnecessary. See, I need to learn to slow down a little bit more. You guys are just making me nervous. It's ridiculous. Because you're not even here. That's what's crazy about it. Okay, but in my head, you're here. And you're going to be here when you're watching this video. If anybody actually watches this video, I guess we'll see. Well, guys, I'm going to re-battery and I'll fly her again. See if I can get it to go straight. Oh, yeah, I did bend landing gear forward a little bit. That should help out. Now, let's see if I can make it to the end of the taxiway before she kicks. Okay. All right. I like that. Nice. I don't spend much of planes. Yeah, I don't either. It's I was gonna say that's my problem. I'm a cheapskate, but I like being in this hobby. Yeah. But it's nice because you can be relatively frugal and still be in this hobby and have a lot of fun. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I brought my Sport Cub with me. That's a nice airplane too. Doesn't cost that much. I keep Mike has a it's called a Timber, but it's like that. If you're familiar with that model. Yeah, and I flew it a little bit last Wednesday, and with the flaps on, I mean, it was almost dead calm, almost no breeze at all. Yeah. And that thing would just almost hover. Yeah. I was amazed, and still had total control. Yeah. Now I could see if you had a little bit of a headwind, but there was really no headwind. There was like nothing. Yeah. I was impressed. You remember the Fun Cub? Oh yeah. You know, I've watched the video and I was so turned on about that because I like anything Cub-like. Yeah. Simply like the look.
I buy the damn thing. Well, some of the parts were missing, so I had to call them and get the parts that were missing. Anyway, I put together, now I've been putting together for a while now, as a newbie from that standpoint. And the motor mount wasn't worth a damn. It would make this vibration, and so come to find out, looking at YouTube videos, other people had the same problems.
Huh.
So the motor mount wasn't strong enough for the motor, and that had a tail kicking motor in it.
Oh, it just
Vibrated like crazy.
Huh.
I put it on right, I did it the right way, everything, by the book. And that really turned me off on them. So I probably won't buy another multiplex plane. I like their hardware. Their hardware is really nice.
there we go. I was gonna get stuck in the grass. Taxi that bastard back to me.
I've been an apprentice on that damn thing. That glides and glides and glides and glides and glides. Invariably, you almost end up, or do end up, going off the runway, running out of runway. But it's kind of hefty, you know?
Yeah. Now I've seen a number of guys out here with the Apprentice, and if somebody were going to start off in the hobby, yeah. I would say get that, or they've got one called a Delta Ray.
Okay.
It's a Delta Wing airplane,
Yeah.
Twin motor,
Yeah.
elevons, and a friend of mine had one of those, and it just works fantastic.
Cool. It is.
Well, no real wind.
Need a little expo in their controls, but boy,
Yeah.
it flies.
It needed a lot of up trim.
Man.
Try to slow her down.
Flying wings are really fast, aren't they? Well, there's no doubt about it. The sucker flies.
Yeah, getting some wobble. Oh, she's starting to stall. Now I know what I'm going to have to do to it.
What's that?
It's going to need wing fences. Watch yourself. I don't know what this thing's going to do once I get real slow. I had to fly it in.
Does it wobble more when you go fast or slow?
Slow. It's called Dutch roll. Well, it's a side effect of the swept wing design.
Oh.
Couldn't resist it, had to do it. I just wanted to see what she'd do. Yeah.
It flies.
Yeah. Alright, well, after flight report,
Oh, a tire came off.
it pulled the foam right off the wheel, which is fine. It looks like it'll just go back on.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think the steering servos broke, but it disconnected it broke the little arm off of it.
Oh.
This is fine. The prop lost a little bit on the tip there, but what it needs, yeah, let me get the battery disconnected. Yeah, I just bent this a little bit.
Bigger winglets?
Well, what it needs, kinda. I had a flying wing I had built in the past, and what it needed was fences.
A what?
What they call a fence.
Oh.
What that does, when you with a swept wing design, you actually get airflow that'll go span-wise.
Uh-huh.
Especially at lower speeds, instead of the air going over the wing, it hits the front of the wing and sort of goes that way.
Oh.
If it's not going over the wing, all it's doing is creating drag, and you're not getting any lift out of it. So what you do is you can put a mid-span, have a winglet basically, kind of like that comes out in front of the leading edge. It kind of acts like a little fence or a little trap for that air. So when that span-wise air hits it, it catches it and forces it over the wing to give you some lift. And it's nice to have them at the wing tip, because then you don't get the tip roll type of a thing.
That makes sense.
So and I was thinking I might have to do that, but I just built it according to the way the design was. But it flew.
It flew.
It didn't fly apart. I was impressed by that. It survived the landing as much as it was a landing.
Well, you pinned down on the wheel, so you done good.
Came into, well, it just needs those fences, and that way I can come in slower. Yeah, nice. Well, I brought it back in, well, I was going to say one piece. One big piece and one really tiny piece. I did lose a little wheel foam. All right.